Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Veris Conley, Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. The Burlington Police and Fire Departments hosted Safety Night 2022 in the parking garage at Wegmans to give residents, especially children, a chance to meet with them in a safe and relaxed environment. BNEWS Director Rich Hosford has this report.
I'm here at what is likely the safest place in all of Massachusetts tonight, the Wegmans Parking Garage, host of Burlington Safety Night 2022, put on by the Burlington Police and Fire Departments. I'm joined by my colleague, Chris Flaherty, and we're going around talking to different agencies, officers, and participants to hit their thoughts on Safety Night. Let's check it out.
It was a great event. You actually get to go out here and see all the kids. The kids get so excited with all the equipment. It gives all of us a chance to mingle, get to know the people. And it's just always a good night. It's been very successful.
What I love about this is that people can, get up close with the vehicles and police, fire, DPW, and talk to the guys. And for the kids, too, to make things, less intimidating for them when they see a cop car around town. Just a great community outreach and such a great thing for the town.
One theme that many of the first responders stress is that events like Safety Night are beneficial because they offer the opportunity for residents, especially children, to get to know them and then hopefully be more comfortable interacting with them during or after an emergency.
A lot of the times we're out in the public in someone's worst day, and we don't get a chance to interact with them in a calm, relaxed atmosphere. This is great just to be out, and see them when it's a good day.
When residents see the police or need the police, it's usually in a crisis situation. And they're usually upset, something bad is going on. This is a great night or a great way for residents and children to see police in a non-emergent situation, a non-crisis situation.
So there you have it, a look at Safety Night 2022. A great event that allows first responders to mingle with the public in a safe and fun environment so that everyone is more comfortable if they have to deal with them in an emergency. We talked to some great people, and we'll have full coverage of the event coming up soon, so stay tuned for that.
The state is reporting new cases of monkeypox in Massachusetts, though local health officials say they have not been made aware of any cases in Burlington. The Mass Department of Public Health said in a July 29 statement that 36 additional cases of monkeypox in adult males had been reported within the past 7 days, bringing the total number of cases in the Commonwealth to 115 since the state's first case was announced in May. The 36 cases were diagnosed between July 21 and July 27. Mass DPH is working with local health officials, the patients, and healthcare providers to identify individuals who may have been in contact with the patients while they were infectious. Individuals with monkeypox are advised to isolate and avoid a contact with others until they are no longer infectious. According to Mass DPH, monkeypox is a rare disease that can make you sick, including a rash, which may look like pimples or blisters, often with an earlier flu-like illness. Monkeypox can spread to anyone through close, personal, often skin-to-skin contact. Anyone who has been in close contact with someone who has monkeypox is at risk, but early data suggests that gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men make up a higher number of cases. Unfortunately, supplies of vaccines are low, though Burlington Health Director Susan Luminello said at last week's Board of Health meeting that individuals who are in at-risk groups can receive one. They are also given to people who have contracted the disease or have been in close contact with an infected person to try and limit the severity of their symptoms. Board of Health Chair Ed Weiner told BCAT in a phone interview that there have been no reported cases in town. Two organizations in the field of medicine and biotech are in the works to open at the same location in Burlington and bring hundreds of jobs with them. As reported on BNews, the Broad Institute and Vericel are in the process of moving to 2527 Network Drive to occupy new lab space currently under construction. Burlington's Economic Development Department posted on their website, Bring Me to Burlington, an update on the progress of the project and said both organizations are expected to take up occupancy in town in 2024. Vericel Corporation works in advanced cell therapies for sports medicine and severe burn care markets and is a developer of patient-specific expanded cell therapies for use in the treatment of patients with severe diseases and conditions. According to the post on Bring Me to Burlington, the Broad Institute is also within the life sciences field, but approaching it in an even broader sense, working with researchers at MIT, Harvard, and Harvard-affiliated hospitals. The Institute aims to accelerate biomedical research and genomic medicines. In just a few minutes, they can generate a whole human genome's worth of genetic data and read gene expression patterns in tissues and in millions of single cells. Currently, construction to build the necessary lab space and supporting office space is underway at the site. The Middlesex Coalition, with partner New England Real Estate Journal, began discussion on the challenge of the housing crisis from state and local leaders, as well as developers. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak has this report.
The Middlesex 3 Coalition recently held their summer real estate summit on the hot topic of the housing crisis.
The Middlesex 3 Coalition, we are a regional economic development group to try to address business development concerns in the region. And what we've been hearing from our business community is that housing is an issue with our business community.
However, in Massachusetts, every land use decision, every vote for more housing is a local vote.
And the idea is harder to find people to fill your positions if people can't come here and live here and find affordable housing. So we want to try to address the housing issue and create more opportunities to build more smart housing that works for the developers and for the community.
It's about the suburban housing crisis. The state is promulgating new regulations that are trying to encourage more housing production because we're year after year not creating enough housing, and there's a lot of employment out here, and people want to be near where they work. And so not just Burlington, but every city and town just needs to do more to create more housing overall. We're currently building 167 units on 4th Avenue right next to Lifetime Fitness. So each apartment comes with a membership in the health club. We have about 23 to 26 senior affordable units at that project in 4th Ave. So if anyone's at a point in their life where they're thinking about maybe selling their house and renting an apartment, there is no asset test. So there'll be an income test under the local regulations, meaning you can't make $1 million a year and live there and get the affordable rent, but there is no asset test. So you can sell your house, put the money into the bank, and then as long as your income is not too high, you can qualify for these units. This is something that we're working with Marge Yateman at the Council on Aging, but if you know anyone who's at a point when they want to sell their house and rent an apartment at about a 50% reduction in market rent, so it's a really good deal.
The panel is really experts from the area that come with a slightly different background. So we had the town manager from the town of Bedford, we had Mayor Kim Driscoll from the city of Salem, and then we had a couple of developers, including the Davis companies, Nordblum and Reamer and Bronstein, looking at it from the commercial perspective and the challenges that they face. And the idea, and if you see over here, the idea is to bring people together and create those conversations. Start the conversation with the panel, but continue it so that we are able to understand what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, so that we're able to work together by having those conversations.
From the Nordblum Company, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
I hope you are all able to join us afterwards. We've got a food truck outside.
Northeastern University has been told by the Board of Health to complete structural integrity analysis of 2 structures to ensure that vehicles or people are not at risk of falling through the Burlington campus parking lot. The issue arose at last week's meeting when the department's environmental engineer, Christine Mathis, provided the board with an update on a set of conditions put on the campus. She explained that before the school built on the site, it was the home to 2 Nike missile silos meant to protect Boston in the event of an invasion during the Cold War. When Northeastern came before the town for a special permit and a site plan for approval to install a now existing Building 5, the Board of Health placed a few requirements on that project, one of which was an engineering analysis and opinion regarding the structural integrity of each silo to be conducted by a mass-certified structural engineer every 2 years. Northeastern also agreed to cordon off the 2 silos, which is done by putting up barriers and planting grass over them. Mathis said the analysis report had been due in June of 2021, but the Northeastern had failed to supply it, thus prompting the department to bring them before the board. Paul McAndrew, senior project manager at Northeastern, said that while he did not want to make excuses, the pandemic coupled with numerous people in senior positions leaving the university had an impact on getting the analysis completed. However, he said they are making headway and believe they will be able to start by September 1. He said they have a certified engineer, a consulting group, and a safety rescue team that will be on site because these silos are closed environments. Members of the board said that they were glad Northeastern was looking into the issue. In the end, it was agreed to continue the issue until the October meeting of the Board of Health for an update on the report. If the report is finished before then, they will table the issue unless the analysis shows further action is required. Kylie Lee Baker has worked at the Burlington Library since late 2020. During her time there, she has found success publishing her first novel, The Keeper of the Night, which you can check out in the library or wherever books are sold. BNEWS reporter Chris Flaherty spoke to Kylie on her time writing the book and the support she received from her co-workers at the Burlington Library. Has this look.
If you were to check out a book titled The Keeper of the Night at the Burlington Library, there's a chance you might be assisted by its author, Kylie Lee Baker. Kylie is a native of Medford, Massachusetts, and graduate of Emory University. She started working at the Burlington Library in late 2020. The Keeper of the Night, her debut novel, draws inspiration from the Victorian England era and Vietnamese mythology.
It's about a girl named Ren Scarborough, who is a half British Grim Reaper, half Japanese Shinigami, which is like a Japanese Grim Reaper, who gets chased out of her home in Victorian England and runs away to Japan, where she tries to make a deal with the Japanese goddess of death in the underworld. But she's told that first she has to prove herself by killing 3 of Japan's most dangerous demons.
Perhaps Kylie's most avid readers are her co-workers at the Burlington Library.
They're always trying to tell patrons about my book, convince them to check it out. So many of them have read it, even though I was very clear, it's a very dark fantasy book. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, so I don't expect anyone to read it. But so many of them have, and even if they haven't, they're just saying, oh, it's so cool that you're published. That's so great. I'm so happy for you. So they've all been really great about it. I've got to check my book out to patrons a few times. I'm too shy to say anything about it, but it's a very, very surreal experience. So, and I can see it on the shelf from where I stand at the circulation desk. So it's pretty cool.
This fall, Kylie is anticipating the release of The Empress of Time, her second novel and sequel to Keeper of the Night.
I really am just in love with my characters. I'm sad that the series is ending, but it's been such a journey with them. I started writing the book when I was living in Korea, and it's so crazy, all the pandemic and everything that's happened between then and now. But it's fun because I get to do more in-person events this time around, so that's exciting. But I'm also just happy to move on to new stories. I have a lot of new ideas.
For any aspiring writers, Kylie recommends reading what you love for inspiration.
I know that's a very cliche thing for a librarian to say, but we have lots of great books at the library. I think it's so important to just read what you love and then take the pieces that you love and see how you can create something that recreates that feeling of excitement that you feel when you read or even watch or listen to something that you really like. That's what I always try to do, is just make what I love, but differently than how other people have done it.
You can find The Keeper of the Night by Kylie Lee Baker at the Burlington Library and wherever books are sold. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
It was an evening of celebration to recognize the hard work of volunteers who work tirelessly to ensure everyone in the community has the healthy food they need. On Saturday, Burlington's charity organization, People Helping People, held a volunteer appreciation night at Tuscan Kitchen to honor the roughly 75 volunteers who give their time each week to work at the Burlington Food Pantry or the community garden. Food Pantry manager Julie Lewis said they deserve a lot of celebration for all their hard work and that the service the pantry provides would not be possible without their volunteers. Pantry director Jim Sheridan agrees with Lewis, saying the work the volunteers perform is phenomenal and that their dedication is mind-boggling. During the event, the organization highlighted the work of the 5 volunteers who stood out for their exemplary service and awarded one Volunteer of the Year. The 5 volunteers who were honored for exemplary service were Catherine Gillespie, Scott Salvidio, Carlo and Nadia Albano, and Janet Sue. The Volunteer of the Year was Master Gardener Peter Coppola. Coppola has been the driving force behind the garden that supplies the pantry with fresh vegetables, some fruits, herbs, and other foods throughout the growing and harvesting season. So far this year, the garden has yielded close to 1,000 pounds of food and will roughly deliver 3,000 pounds of food, with plans on tripling that number, as I said, by the end of the season. Finally, both pantry leaders said they thought the volunteer appreciation event was a success. Along with food donated by Tuscan Kitchen, they were able to give their honored volunteers gift baskets with funds donated by elite realty experts and give out table centerpieces donated by Whole Bunch of Flower Market. Education doesn't have to end when summer begins. The Story School Summer Camp program has found a way to incorporate learning into a storybook-like adventure. BNews reporter Varys Conley spoke to leaders at the school and 2 documentarians looking to highlight the magic the program creates. He has this look.
Imagine if your homework assignment was to slay a dragon. Well, that's just a normal day for the kids at the Wizards and Warriors Summer Camp at the Story School. This unique experience, designed for ages 8 to 17, allows those who sign up to go on a magical journey exploring imaginary worlds and defeating beasts, all while learning STEM education.
LARP, camp, and school kind of function is that by allowing students the chance to learn in an informal environment, and by using storytelling, stories, and a kind of living world as the mechanism for delivering that education, that experience, you get immediate buy-in. Nobody is stepping into this going, it's another classroom, there's another teacher talking at me, I don't want to be here, but I understand that it has importance. Everyone who's coming into our programs wants to be there.
All the while, a young documentarian by the name of Sam Ho took it upon himself to create a cinematic record of this camp.
In 2018, I actually interned at this camp that we're following, and I sort of just kind of became really whoa, what is this? What am I looking at? And became really invested in just how creative these kids were. And I knew from there that I wanted to produce a doc about it.
During the post-production of the documentary, Sam Ho teamed up with fellow graduate Claire Ogden to assist in producing the film.
We think this is a really special camp that helps a lot of kids explore their characters and creativity through the camp story, but also explore their own identities through that.
However, an encounter with the coronavirus left our filmmakers and counselors to pick up the pieces and find a new and creative way to continue their missions during a global pandemic.
We tried desperately to do a full, complete switch. We used to call ourselves Unplugged, where literally we would stay as far away from technology as possible because we wanted kids working together in real time. And now we suddenly had to take that unplugged model and somehow use technology in a way that still promoted personal connections. Room at home. Do you have any of this at home? Whatever you have, pick it up. We're gonna find on screen. I'm gonna point to the corner of the screen. That's where I want you to stab. So I put my hand up here, everybody would stab upside there. Put my hand down here, stab down there.
I graduated from school in 2020, and it was like a sort of a curveball of how do I approach a documentary when I can't actually film anybody or see anybody. So a lot of it early on was a lot of Zoom interviews and research about the history of this camp and what sort of people constituted this world.
With the battle for education raging on, these young heroes will take what they have learned and step up to the task for their futures. This has been Varys Connolly for BNews Weekly. If you want to do your part to help keep this camp open and transform the way that we look at education, we ask that you please donate to the Kickstarter. Any amount helps.
Schoolhouse ice cream and yogurt proprietors Rob and Betty Stanley have been scooping out their delicious homemade ice cream for 19 years in the Burlington Town Center. Having created plenty of ice cream recipes, they are now reaching out for your favorite flavor ideas through the Schoolhouse Ice Cream and Yogurt Instagram accounts. Rob Stanley is regularly checking the account in search of that one unique flavor. He said they're seeing if somebody has a creative flavor that hasn't been done yet and has a cool name, and every day he's scrolling through the feed, and if he sees one that catches his eye, he'll write it down. Whichever flavor he ends up picking, he's going to put it on Instagram to give props to the person that came up with it. If you have a flavor and a name idea, go to the Schoolhouse Instagram and scroll to post made on July 21st and leave your suggestion in the comment section. You can submit your ideas until the end of August. Tyler D'Amour's younger brother, Trey, spoke to BNews about his experience as a freestyle mogul skier. Not 93-degree weather, obviously. He too has made a number of accomplishments while competing on his team. Let's have a look.
Trey Demore is following his brother Tyler's footsteps, as he is also part of the freestyle mogul ski team. Demore began skiing when he was young.
I was about 2 or 3 years old. My parents just got me into it, so I stuck with it. Probably the first time I went to Killington Mountain School, which was probably like middle school, elementary school, 5th or 6th grade. I had a really good time there, and I just want to keep doing it.
Trey was 5th overall in the U.S. Junior National Championship and was the Waterville Valley Rosemary Bowl champion. He said he enjoyed both of these achievements and events.
I liked the 5th at Junior Nationals because it was the first time I beat my brother, and I was really excited about it. I also liked the Rosemary Bowl win because it's the first time I actually won a really big event, so that was exciting for me.
In February 2021, Trey sustained a shoulder injury where he underwent a surgical procedure and physical therapy. Since then, Trey has worked harder than before to get back to where he was prior to his injury.
I was doing a trick, cork 1080, and I happened to land on my shoulder, and I tore my labrum. I'm about back to 100% now.
Trey placed 3rd in nation for the 16 and underage group and 5th in the U.S. Junior Nationals run.
Big accomplishment for me. I'd like to get 1st, but I'll take 3rd. Probably Nationals because it was the hardest course I've ever skied in my life, and I had a good time there.
While he enjoys traveling with his teammates, Trey's biggest goal is to one day be a part of the U.S. Olympic ski team.
I would like to make the U.S. ski team, maybe go to the Olympics someday. It's a big dream of mine. I like traveling around. You get to go to a lot of different places. You get to meet new people. It's really fun.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
The hot and mostly dry days have lingered on this summer. You can tell by the hayfield that used to be your lawn. To see if that trend will continue, we go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Welcome everyone, this is Peter Brown with your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into August. I know it's hard to believe that we're this far into summer, and the hot and humid weather looks like it is going to continue with us, at least for the first part of our period. So really no drought relief out there. I know your gardens and lawns here, especially in Burlington, are really suffering right now as there is a complete outside watering ban. I know that the grass is very brown, very crunchy out there, and it really is starting to look like a desert out there again, just like we've been seeing over the past couple of summers here in the Burlington area. Fortunately, our temperatures aren't going to really be helping us out much. We're going to be starting out our period in the low to mid 90s on Friday again. Very humid out there, but it doesn't look like much rain is going to be coming out of those clouds. And as we round out our period next Thursday, we're supposed to be seeing temperatures again still in the mid 80s at this time of the year, and we're going to see temperatures a little bit cooler by then. So we might actually be seeing the chance of some more unsettled weather coming in, maybe a little bit more of a chance of some more rain or thunderstorms, but unfortunately, doesn't look like anything really organized to really put a dent in our drought. Now, interestingly enough, if you notice down here in the corner of our almanac, our sunrise and sunset times, we have lost about an hour's worth of daylight since we began the summer back in June, and now the sun is going to be setting before 8 p.m., so we won't be seeing any sunsets later than 8 o'clock until next May. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area in terms of temperatures and precipitation for the next 7 to 10 days. And again, looking at our temperature map, nothing new here over these past 5 to 6 weeks in the Burlington area. Very high chances of seeing above average temperatures. That's what we're seeing. And in fact, it's going to be pretty hot over the entire lower 48, even including in that area where you see below average temperatures in the desert southwest. We know that at this time of the year, below average temperatures there could mean temperatures only at 100 degrees. So pretty much assume it is going to be hot from coast to coast. Now, looking at our precipitation chances, again, not what we really want to see. We really want to see those above average chances of precipitation here in the Burlington area, but those are staying well out west and to our south in the Appalachians. And we're just going to have average chances of precipitation here in the Burlington area. Again, nothing really organized, unfortunately, so nothing to really make a dent in that big drought that we have out there. So as you go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And again, pretty much what you see is what you get on this 7-day forecast. I put a chance of showers each and every day in here as we see some unsettled weather, some weak low pressure centers moving by to our north and west throughout much of the week. Might increase our chances of maybe some spot rain showers or thunderstorms. Again, unfortunately, nothing really organized. And again, Temperatures starting out in the low to mid 90s for the weekend, and then cooling off as we head through the rest of the week down into maybe hopefully the lower 80s by Thursday. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. A s'mores party. The Burlington Girl Scouts are inviting families with girls grade K through 12 to a s'mores party Tuesday, August 9th, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Simons Park. Learn about Girl Scouting while making and enjoying s'mores, the summertime favorite. All s'mores ingredients will be provided. For more information, email girlscoutsburlingtonma@gmail.com. BCAT's Video Vacation Week. Video Vacation Week is a summer program to have fun, be creative, and learn about video production. Participants are taught the proper use of video equipment for both in-studio and on-location productions, with a cool wrap party at the end of the week. The completed production will be broadcast on BCAT TV and on BCAT's YouTube channel. Burlington Players Auditions. The Burlington Players announces auditions for its November show, Miss Bennett Christmas at Pemberley. Auditions will be held Sunday, August 21st and Monday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. You need to set up an audition appointment. For more information, visit burlingtonplayers.com or email the producer, Hugh, at burlingtonplayers.com. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photos features one of the smallest birds in the world. It was sent in by Burlington resident Gwen McNamee and features a female ruby-throated hummingbird she photographed in her backyard. These birds are constantly looking for nectar to power their high-energy ways, which include beating their wings a whopping 53 times per second. Thank you for the photo, Gwen. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your summer activities, family and pets, the weather outside your front door, or anything else you'd like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Chris Flaherty, Robert Paris, John Vias, Yaris Conley, Gretchen Carey, Peter Brown.